He, ha, ha. Sorry. I'm okay. I just, sometimes when I speak, I just can't. It looks like it's dark outside, so I don't know how well the lighting is going to be. But I can't help it. I tried to wait until the sun came out, but it's just kind of cloudy today, and I don't think the sun's going to come out. So sadly, you're gonna have to get this lighting. That's kind of why, because it was sunny for briefly today, but I took my dog for a walk, and then I could have filmed a video, but I went and got sushi instead, so sorry. Anyhow, on to today's video. Sorry for rambling. My name's Elle, and I like to talk about books. Today, we are going to be ranking books I read in middle/high school. Some of these books I read in middle school, some of these books I read in high school. I got this idea from Peruse Books. I believe her name is Reagan, if I'm not mistaken. I know the channel's called Peruse Books. I will link her video below. So, I have my handy dandy laptop here. Gonna be here ranking some books. Okay, so on the list here, I'm gonna take this off of my wrist. On the list here, we have 5 categories. The first one is Made in My Childhood. That's obviously at the top of the list. The second one is Should Read Again, because I loved. Whether I love it now or not, it doesn't matter. Third one is Can't Remember, but probably not very good. Fourth one, I can't count. Fourth one is Would Not Read Again, and fifth one is Still Precious Time from My Youth. These are books that are so bad that I look back at them as just something that stole precious time I could have spent doing something else in my youth. First book we're talking about is The Witches of Santa Barbara. I'm going to go ahead and put that under Would Not Read Again. Though it's true that I can't remember everything that happened in the book. I do remember that it was about witches and like there was a new girl. And it was just like a stereotypical witch book. So yeah, I'm going to put it under Would Not Read Again. Just a good remember to call that out. Anyhow, The House of Mango Street, I'm going to put it in Should Read Again because I remember reading that. I checked it out from my library and I didn't know what it was about because I used to just go to the library at my school and just pick up random books and decide to read them. For what reason, I do not know. But I remember really liking The House of Mango Street because it was about a Hispanic girl. I don't know how else to put it. I'm a Hispanic girl, so I was like, that's interesting. That's like me. So I liked it. And I remember it. I don't really remember exactly what it's about. But I do remember that I really liked it. I remember there are books involved. And that is about it. I also remember thinking about planting a tree or something. I don't know. The next one is Daughter of the Forest. I'm going to put that under Made in My Childhood. I actually read Daughter of the Forest when I was 11, I think. My mom recommended it to me, even though there's some, like, graphic things that happen in that book. My mom recommended it to me. My mom loves to read too, and she just said I should read that book. And she gave me her Nook password thing, and I read away. And then I absolutely fell in love, and that is the start of me loving fantasy. Yeah, I mean, I guess I always read, like, books about witches and stuff like that, but never, like, epic fantasy like that. I don't know if it's an epic fantasy. Fantasy is a big world. I guess it's not epic fantasy, because epic fantasies are like their own world, right? And that isn't its own world. That didn't create its own world. It kind of did, because the fairy realm is like a different realm, so it's like a different world. You know, never mind. I'm gonna keep going on. The Alchemist. I'm gonna put that under Made in My Childhood too. Actually, I'm gonna put it in Should Read Again. I haven't read that book in a while, and I don't want to put it under Made in My Childhood and have one of you read it and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you liked that book. I'm gonna put it under Should Read Again. I remember loving it when I was a kid. That's another book I think I read around the same time I read Daughter of the Forest. And that's a series that actually just the first 3 books. I know it's a longer series than that, but I remember my sister read that, and my mom read it, and my brother read it, and I read it. And I just remember it being really good and really enjoying it. Next book is Pride and Prejudice. I'm going to put that one under Made My Childhood. I remember when I got Pride and Prejudice, my sister actually got it for me I think she got it for me for my birthday. And she got me like the Barnes & Noble like classic edition Pride and Prejudice. And I remember She got it for me, and she was like, because I know that you love to read, and I think she's always so serious all the time. She's like, I know that you love to read, and I think that literature could be a valid choice of career for you later in your future. So you will need to know these classic novels. Yeah, so she got me Pride and Prejudice, and I actually really enjoyed it. It is my favorite classic novel that I've ever read. So yeah, the next book, even though you cannot see the title, you actually can't see the title of Pride and Prejudice too. I just know it's Pride and Prejudice because I picked it. Some of these pictures are not the best. They just cropped them weirdly. Anyway, this next book is The Book Thief. I'm gonna put this one under. I kind of want to put this one right here. I do remember it, but I don't love it. And so this is the middle tier. I guess I should just put it under Would Not Read Again. But that seems harsh because I don't dislike it. Okay, let's put it under Can't Remember, but probably not very good. Even though it was good. I do remember it being good, and I remember liking it. But liking it at like a middle level. So I'm just going to put it there and leave it there. I'm going to put this under Would Not Read Again. This is marked by, I think her name, it's PC Cast. I think it's like a mother-daughter writing group. I think it's Kristen and PC Cast. Would Not Read It Again. I remember I kind of liked it when I was in middle school. I tried to read it again when I was in high school. Wasn't a fan, but it wasn't so awful that I feel like it stole time. The next one is City of Bones. I'm going to put that in. Can't remember, but probably not very good, even though I know a lot of people on BookTube do really like it. And all I remember from it, I either read the first 2 books or the first 3 books. I read up to the point where it started to get like incesty, and that was as far as I got. After it started to get a little incesty, I stopped reading because I found that really weird. I'm pretty sure it stops being incesty. I should probably stop saying incesty. I'm pretty sure it stops being incesty, but I stopped reading it regardless. So I'm gonna put it in Can't Remember, but probably not very good. Though if enough people tell me to, I might pick it up again and try to read it. The Summoning, I'm gonna put that under Stole Precious Time from My Youth. I actually think I read the first 2 books in that series, but I think that's only because when I went to buy the book, I bought the first 2 books. And just as someone, as a kid, I don't have like money to spare, so the first 2 books I read them. I mean, I didn't buy the first 2 books, but Mom bought the first 2 books for me, and I just felt like I had to read both books. So I'm gonna put it under Stole Precious Time from My Youth. I kind of liked the idea, but I also didn't kind of like the idea. I feel like it was about a lot of these that I'm putting under Can't Remember, like the books under Can't Remember, Would Not Read Again, Stole Precious Time from My Youth. Some of them I still can't really remember, but I'm pretty sure The Summoning was about like a girl who ends up being a necromancer, and she gets sent to this house. Her parents send her to this house, and there's like a werewolf there and stuff like that. She like brings a body back from the dead in the basement. Yeah, I'm just gonna put it Stole Precious Time from My Youth, and I'm not gonna comment it anymore. Underworld, I'm gonna put under Can't Remember, but probably not very good. To me, the reason some of these are in Would Not Read Again, Stole Precious Time from My Youth, versus Can't Remember, is because Would Not Read Again means that I read the book. I read Marked. I remember reading the PC Cast and Kristen Cast series. I read like the first 5 books in the series. I feel like there's like 10 books or something like that. I read like the first 5 books in the series. And the reason why those books, even though I don't remember them super clearly, are going under Would Not Read Again versus Can't Remember is because I remember disliking them. Whereas other books, like The Book Thief, I don't remember disliking it. And City of Bones, I don't remember disliking it. I think I kind of liked it, and then the incest storyline kind of threw me off. And I didn't want to waste my money on the next book to read about incest. I said I was going to stop saying incest, but I just said it like 10 more times. Anyhow, Underworld, I remember reading. I remember I had, I don't know how many books are in the series, but I had 2 volumes of it, I believe. And I don't know, I just didn't like it. The next book is My Blood Approves. This one I'm going to put under, Would Not Read Again. I'm gonna put that under Would Not Read Again. My Blood Approves. It was about this girl. It was a vampire story. I don't remember exactly what happens. It's about this girl and she meets a vampire, and that vampire falls in love with her. But when she goes to meet his family, she's actually bound to his brother. Um, and then the vampire that did fall in love with her ends up having to turn the main character's brother. So then the brother is in love with the guy that's in love with her, but she's in love with his brother. And so it's this weird love square thing. Very disturbing. Didn't finish the series. Actually, I was rooting for her and the brother, even though the brother desperately wanted to get away from this girl. So yeah. The next series I'm going to be talking about is Wicked. I will put that under... Can't remember, but probably not very good. I do vaguely remember it was about a witch, and it was about a family. And this girl, her parents die. Her parents and her best friend die in a boating accident in the beginning. And then she has to move in with her aunt and her two cousins, who she's never had any contact with. And then her and her two cousins kind of find out they're witches at the same time. Their aunt always knew she was a witch. But these three girls it's kind of about these three girls navigating through the witchdom. And then one of the girls, the main girl, is in love with, or she's not in love, her past life and this other guy's past life were in love, but this guy's family is trying to kill her family. It's kind of like this Romeo and Juliet thing, but with witches. Yeah, wasn't a fan. Next one is Kissed by an Angel. I'm gonna put this under... Where do I want to put this? It's definitely between these two. The thing is just I don't know that I'd want to read it again. No, but I should read again because I loved. I realized I didn't put loved it just because I loved. Should read it again because I loved. Anyways, Kissed by an Angel. I remember I read that in middle school, and it's about this girl, and it's like 3 books in one. It's one of those like bound things. And in the first book, it's about her and this guy. And then at the end of the first book, or at the beginning of the second book, that guy dies. And then it's about him watching over her as like her guardian angel while she... I can't remember. I feel like someone's also trying to kill her. Or is it just that she's trying to figure out who killed him? So the first book is kind of like a romance, and then the last 2 books are like a mystery of like who killed him, because it wasn't an accident. I don't remember who killed him, actually, so yeah, there's that. The next book I'm going to be talking about, let me just make sure this is still recording. Awesome. The next book I'm going to be talking about is First Year by Rachel Black. I would put this under Made My Childhood. This book... So Made My Childhood. I mean, the first time I read it, I was 14. I think when the series came out, when the first book came out, actually, when the last book came out, I was 17 or 18. But when the first book came out, I was 14 or 15. I read it, I believe I read it the summer after freshman year, but before sophomore year. And I liked it a lot. It's about a girl and her twin, and they go to this magic school. And in their world, it's like you can choose to go to 3 different things. You can choose to join the cavalry, or there's 3 different war schools, and this country is very big on war. And so you can go to the cavalry, which is the cavalry. I don't know how else to do it. The night school or magic school. She chooses to go to magic school, her and her twin. And in order to get into the magic school, you have to pass a first-year trial. So it's about her first year at this magic school and trying to pass the trial at the end. Yeah. The next book is Elsewhere. And this is between these 2. I will put Elsewhere under... Can't remember, but probably not very good. I kind of should read again because I loved. Elsewhere is about... I picked all the pictures for this book. Basically what I did was I went to Goodreads and I scrolled through a bunch of like middle books, and I picked out the ones that I had read. So some of them I just clicked on the picture because I was like, oh yeah, I remember that book. So hopefully I'm remembering this correctly. But Elsewhere is about a girl who dies, and it's about her life in Elsewhere, which is where you go after you die. I'm going to put that in trivia again because I loved. I thought it tackled a bunch of different things. I don't know if I read it now, I'd be like, oh my god, that's cheesy. But I remember really liking it. And just reading about loss in the family. because she's the one that dies, so she's the one that's lost. But she gets to look in and see how her family's dealing with her death. It's really weird. Like every time she looks in, she kind of is like a poltergeist and kind of like moving things around, freaking her family out. So she has to stop looking in at her family. I don't know. I really liked it. It was called Elsewhere. It basically just touched on how to move on from traumatic events. In her case, her traumatic event was death, which is about as traumatic as it gets. The next series, sorry if I'm a little hyper in this thing. I actually don't have an excuse. I'm just feeling more comfortable in camera. The next series I'm going to be talking about is Dark Lover. Well, not the series. Well, it is a series. The pretty sure the series is like the Black Dagger Brotherhood. I'm going to put this in Should Read Again because I don't really read romance anymore. But when I was in middle school, I think when I read this, actually, it was the summer before high school, and my mom loves romance, and she always has romance on her shelf. And I remember she said I could read some of her books, but to ask her which ones I could read, because a lot of her books, I guess, had steamy sex scenes, including this one. And I picked this book up, but I didn't want to ask her because I had already asked her about a bunch of series, and she's like, no, not that one, no, not that one. So I figured it was better to beg forgiveness. What is it? Yeah, it's better to beg forgiveness than ask for permission. So yeah, I just started picking up books and not telling her about it, and then I would hide them under my pillow. Or I would hide them, like, my bed was against the wall, and I would just, like, stick them in between the wall and my bed. Third Lover. So it's about this group of vampires, and basically they protect the people of New York, I'm pretty sure. They protect the people of New York from, I don't know, either from evil vampires or from demons or something like that. And one of the vampires dies, and he leaves a note, or maybe right before he dies. He either tells this guy right before he dies, or he leaves a note before he dies saying that he actually had a daughter with a human, and he asks this guy to watch over his daughter after he dies, because she's reaching the age where she might turn into a vampire. Because, like, in this world, you grow up not being a vampire, I guess. No, I think if you're a half vampire, you grow up not being a vampire, and then when you are, like, around 20, in between 20 and 25 or something like that, then you become a vampire. I don't know how else to explain it. And so he's watching after this woman. I think people try to go after her and kill her or something like that, and he protects her. Then takes her back to his place, and eventually they fall in love. It's a romance novel, so you know what's gonna happen. But yeah, I remember really liking it, especially for a romance novel, and part of the reason I liked it, I think, is because I was 13, and I was like, oh, I shouldn't be reading this. And I was reading it, and there was, like, steamy sex scenes, and I was like, oh, I'm so cool. I'm reading a book with steamy sex scenes. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave it there. This book. Animal Farm. Animal Farm, I'm going to put under Made My Childhood. I thought it was a really good book. It is also one of my favorite classics. Is Animal Farm a classic? I feel like Animal Farm is a classic. What, it came out in, like, the 1950s, right? Right. Yeah, I really liked Animal Farm. I thought it was really cool. I read it. My brother was a year, well, he still is a year older than me, and he read it for school, and so then it was in the house, and then I read it, and I really liked it. It was really good. And then the next year, when I was in the class, I didn't have to reread it because I remembered it pretty well, and I had the same teacher as him, so all of his assignments were saved on our family computer, and I literally would just take his assignments and change the name on them and submit them. Yeah, that's what I did. Worked out well. I got an A in that class, I'm pretty sure. Anyhow, I really liked it. I would definitely rate it highly. I think that it's a great book. Give it to a 10-year-old and they could read it just like a book about farm animals and the dynamics between farm animals and animals. I'm 5 years old. Animals, or you could give it to a 20-year-old and they could read it about like a critique on World War II. So very interesting. This book is... trying to see what this book is, but I can't see, so I'm gonna take a look-see. Give me 1 second. Okay, I know what book it is now. I'm gonna put this in order. I almost put it in, I can't remember. I'm gonna put it in Still Precious Time for my youth. It was very weird. Kind of reminding me of another book I read in high school, middle school. called Blood and Chocolate, I think that one was called. Kind of reminded me of that. It's about a girl, and she's a werewolf, and there's like an alpha wolf that she's supposed to be with. I'm talking about this book, by the way, not Blood and Chocolate. The Blood and Chocolate is pretty similar. But this book, there's like an alpha wolf she's supposed to be with, but then she saves a human boy, so then she's like, do I want to be with the human boy? Do I want to be with the alpha male? Very weird. Still precious time for my youth. Not saying weird. If you liked it, then that's fine, but I didn't like it. I found it to be kind of disturbing to my 12-year-old head. So, I mean, if you liked it, don't take that like poorly, because I mean, I'm not like the epitome of brilliance. Anyhow, The Night Circus, I'm gonna put should read again because I actually think I have that book on this bookshelf because I like it so much. I liked it so much. Shortly after I graduated, actually, shortly after I graduated high school, I met my significant other, who I'm still with today. And I gave him that book as a gift because I liked it so much at the time, and I still have it because obviously I moved up here and we're together now. And so yeah, I bought that book. So he moved up here. I'm from the States, and he lived in the States when I met him, but then he moved to Canada. So when he moved back to Canada, because originally where he's from, I gave him the book, and then after I clued up some things, I then moved to Canada shortly after. But I gave him that book as a parting gift, so he'd always remember me. I also gave him a fairy tale book. Anyhow, the next book is Sweep. Sweep, I'm going to put under. Actually, interesting story about this book. I'm going to put under. I'm going to put under should read again because I loved, but I will say that I actually did read it again, and okay, I'm going to put it here in like the middle category, kind of next to Wicked. They're kind of the same thing to me because I got them at the same time, I remember. Interesting story about Sweep. Actually, the first YouTube video that I filmed, which was, I don't remember how long ago, probably a month and a half, 2 months. I had a bunch of sheets. I still have the documents saved. I reread the whole Sweep series, which is 15 books. I reread them all because I wanted to do a series rereading books I read when I was in middle school / high school, kind of similar to the name of this video. And that was gonna be the first book of my series, and I was gonna like put a big like words on the screen saying why did I like this, was the plan. But I ended up not doing that because I tried filming that video a couple of times, and I think it's just because it was my first video that I ever filmed. I probably filmed a better video like 3 or 4 times, and I think I just chickened out and I was too scared to upload it, and I ended up deleting it. It wasn't that long ago, it was probably like 2 months, and I still have the documents. So yeah. The next book I'm going to be talking about is The Giver. I'm going to put The Giver under should read again because I loved. I remember really liking the first book. And I actually didn't read the second and third books, which is why I'm putting it a should read again, because I really want to read, I think it's a trilogy, and I want to eventually read the trilogy. But I remember really liking it. The name, should read again, because I loved. Don't even have to think about it. It's like a time traveling novel, and I remember I read the first 2 books, and I couldn't find a third book anywhere. My sister read it first, and then I read it after my sister. And I remember going to the Barnes & Nobles, I remember looking online, I remember going to smaller bookstores and trying to find it, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And then just recently, when because I said I was going to do that series with the Sweep novels of books I read in middle school and high school, I looked it up on my Kindle, and I saw that all the books had recently been added to the Kindle, so it was like a sign. I was like, wow, I should do this series. All the books have been added to the Kindle, so the 3rd book is on there, and I actually think there's a 4th book too. And yeah, so I definitely should read again, and want to read again. Twilight. This is a difficult one. I'm gonna put it in the middle category. Hear me out. When I was in middle school and high school, I absolutely adored Twilight. Not gonna lie. Actually, the first time I read Twilight, I was in elementary school, and I think I was 9 or 10. And I was in elementary school, and I remember bringing it to school in 5th grade. I remember one of the girls that sat next to me told me that I shouldn't be reading that in school. Her parents were worried that she wasn't allowed to read it, so I shouldn't be allowed to read it. I remember really angry. But yeah, I really liked the book. I read it in middle school, and then I read it a bunch of times more in middle school and high school. I really liked it, and I don't know that I'd read it again, which is why I'm not putting in should read again, but I do remember that I did love the book. And that being said, when the next book comes out, The Midnight Sun, that's coming out in August, I'm probably going to read it. How unfortunate. No, it's not really that unfortunate. Since I said unfortunate, I'm going to go ahead and skip to a series of unfortunate events I want to put that under me in my childhood. Amazing books. I read all of them when I was in middle school. I remember reading the last book, and spoiler alert, the books have been out forever, so if you don't know what happens at the end of the books, that's on you. At the end of the last book, I remember reading it and thinking that there were going to be more books, but because it just ends with them, I believe, remembering correctly, I read it in middle school, but if I remember correctly, it just ends with them on a boat and like going off into the middle of nowhere, like it's like mist shrouding them and stuff. So yeah, the next book I'm going to be talking about, the next book I'm going to be rating is The Uglies. I'm going to put that under, I'm going to put it under, I can't remember, probably not very good. I do remember the gist of it. I don't want to say I would never read it again, so I'm not going to put it under would not read again. Yeah, I'm just going to put it right there. Vampire Academy, I'm going to put that under Stole Precious Time from My Youth. I remember I read the first few books. Didn't like them. Yes, so I read the books when I was in middle school, I believe, and then when I was in high school, a movie came out. And I remember my dad, I was gonna say my dad at the time, he's still my dad. My dad saw that I had read the books. He saw them on the bookshelf, and so when the movie came out, he bought me the movie, and I was like, oh my gosh, but I had to watch it because it was a gift, so I couldn't just be like, oh, I hated those books. So yeah, then I had to watch the movie, and it was just as bad as the books. Probably worse than the books, because at least with the books I could like put it down and take a breather, but with the movie I had to sit there for 2 hours and just stare at the screen. Then again, it was only 2 hours of my time. I probably spent more time reading the series, so regardless, because of these books, I lost precious time of my youth where I could have been reading other books or, I don't know, doing something else besides reading a bad book. So yeah, that is my ranking. I read a lot more books. These are just like when I was scrolling through on Goodreads, the books I was like, oh yeah, I read that. So these are the books that are on here. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. That is my list. I apologize. I'm getting too comfortable on camera, so some things I say, I'm gonna sing them. It's quite annoying. I'm not a good singer. And I don't want you guys to think that I think I'm a good singer. I just sing things that I do. So, not something I can help. If you don't like it, then I'm really sorry. That's really mean, because that's just my personality. You're gonna make me cry. That's the end of the video. I don't really have much else to say. That's my list. I should probably end the recording on here. Awesome. I hope you guys have a great day, and voice crack. I hope you guys have a great day, and I would really appreciate it if you guys would like and subscribe to see more videos. I have some more videos coming out. I think I have a tier ranking video, what other videos do I have? This is my tier ranking video. Why did I just say that? Oh, actually, I have another tier ranking video. I have another tier ranking video coming out. I have a book haul coming out. And other videos, I'm sure. I'll come up with other ideas. So yeah, definitely check those out. I'm done. I apologize that you had to put up with my personality.